Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend and were able to get out and do some fun things. Well, we're in a transition period now this week between the Feast of the Ascension that we celebrated last Thursday and the upcoming Feast of Pentecost. Pentecost, the birth of the church, the gift of the Holy Spirit. We are here as a worshiping community in Reading and around the world because of the Holy Spirit and how the Spirit filled the hearts of the apostles and the early disciples, and they went out into the world. I want to read from the Acts of the Apostles that we'll hear next Sunday. When the time for Pentecost was fulfilled, they were all in one place together. And suddenly there came from the sky a noise like a strong driving wind, and it filled the entire house in which they were. And there appeared to them as tongues of fire, which parted and came to rest on each one of them. And they were filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak in different tongues as the Spirit enabled them to proclaim. Wouldn't it have been great to be there and to have experienced the gift of the Holy Spirit on Pentecost? Well, you may not know it, but we have received the same gifts of the Holy Spirit at baptism. He's God's gift to us. The more I read the newspapers and watch TV, the more anxious I get about the world because it just seems to be getting more chaotic as the weeks go on. And yet there is a remedy for the chaos in the world, and that's the Holy Spirit. Think about the power that's unleashed in baptismal fonts. As the priest or deacon pours the water into the font, and invokes the power of the Holy Spirit to come upon the water and to make it holy. And then the newly baptized come forward to be washed clean and given the strength of the Holy Spirit. Baptisms still take place. People are still seeking the peace that only comes from Christ. Let us this week now, as we approach the Feast of Pentecost, let us ask God to open our minds and hearts to the power of his love that came forth from the power that was unleashed at our baptism. To renew our baptismal vows and to go out and to bring peace into the world, to bring calm into a world that is so full of chaos. God has been doing that for centuries, and we are his agents in the world. Let us rejoice in God's gifts to all of us. God bless, and have a great week.